Good evening. Welcome to this regular meeting of the Board of Directors of Oxford Preparatory Academy. October 29th, 2020, 5:30 p.m. open session, 5:40 p.m. closed session, returning to open session at 7 o'clock. This meeting will be by teleconference pursuant to Executive Orders N2520 and N2920. The Board of Directors and employees of Oxford Preparatory Academy shall meet via the Zoom meeting platform. Members of the public who wish to access this board meeting may do so at the URL on the agenda. You may also access that for a live stream at the OPAL website or dial into the telephone number 1-669-900-6833, meeting ID 996-3739-8936. Members of the public who wish to comment during the board meeting should complete the request to address the OPAL Board of Directors form and submit it in order to address the Oxford Preparatory Academy Board of Directors. Requests must be submitted by 4:30 p.m. on 10/29/2020. You will be called on during the Zoom meeting to address the board either during public comments or prior to an agenda item. Please either log into the Zoom meeting at the URL on our agenda or call into 1-669-900-6833. Individual comments will be limited to 3 minutes. If an interpreter is needed for comments, they will translate to English, and the time limit shall be 6 minutes. The Board of Directors may limit the total time for public comments to a reasonable time. The board reserves the right to mute or remove a member of the public if comments or actions disrupts the board meeting. We will start with our call to order. I'm going to call us to order at 5:34 p.m. Danelli Agarwal.
Here.
Joseph Haney is present. Raymond Jackson.
Happily present.
Très bien. And Delight Travis.
Present.
All right. Next up is C, approval of the agenda for the regular meeting of the Oxford Preparatory Academy Board of Directors on October 29th, 2020. It is recommended that the board approve the agenda for the regular meeting of the Oxford Preparatory Academy Board of Directors on October 29th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I second.
And, okay, all those in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? This motion passes unanimously. We are now ready to go to closed session to discuss one item, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D2, one matter. Do we have any comment cards relating to what we will be discussing in closed session?
We do not.
All right, we will depart to closed session now at 5:36 p.m.
As reconvened to open session at 20 minutes after 7 with no action taken in closed session. So I just want to, for the record, let everybody know that Joseph was in our closed session meeting, but he didn't feel well, and he has a fever and a little cough. So that's scary. So poor guy, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. All right, so that brings us up to agenda item number 4, flag salute.
And that, I think we have Maddie and Addie doing the flag salute.
Oh, is that right? Great, look forward to it.
And let me just make sure you guys are not muted.
Me?
All right, both of you guys are on.
Please place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
America.
America and
To
to
the republic
for which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
nation,
under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
liberty,
liberty, and justice
for
for
all.
all.
Okay, very well done. So that leads us to agenda item number 5, public comment. Dr. Amy, do we have any public comment cards?
We do not.
Okay, well then, so oral communications. I think I was supposed to read this first, but I'll do it anyway, just to make sure I do it right. Oral communications, non-agenda items, the public, including public attending a teleconference location, are invited to address the board regarding items not listed on the agenda. No individual presentation shall be more than 3 minutes, and the total time for this purpose shall not exceed 15 minutes. Ordinarily, board members will not respond to presentations and no action can be taken. However, the board may give direction to staff following a presentation. Please turn in the request to address the OPA Board Directors form and submit it in order to address the Oxford Preparatory Academy Board of Directors. Understanding that there are no cards. Dr. Amy, is that correct?
No cards.
Great. So we'll on to agenda item number 6, consent items. It is requested that the board review and approve consent agenda items A and B, which are minutes from the regular meeting of the OPA Board of Directors on September 24th, and item B, OPA personnel report for October 2020.
I make a motion to approve consent items A and B.
Excellent. Thank you, Delight. Do I have a second? Pretty please, Danelli, if you so please.
I have to unmute you, Denelli. There you go.
I second the motion.
Fantastic. So all in favor of consent agenda items A and B, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously with Dr. Joseph in absentia. That leads us to agenda item number 7, items scheduled for presentation, and reminder that presentations are limited to 10 minutes. Agenda item 7A, school finance report. It looks like Miss Parikh from EdTech is not here. She has a substitute. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
No, I'm
She's here,
Where's
and so is Patrick.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you, Amita. I apologize for that.
Amita, I just made you co-host so you can
Perfect.
screen.
Okay, let me share my screen and then get started. Okay, so we just have a short update today after reviewing the September financials. We did not have any updates in terms of your year-end forecast. So the numbers that we presented at the last meeting are fairly in line with where we're anticipating ending this current fiscal year. And so at this point, we don't have an update in terms of the forecast. However, we did review the check register and credit card register and flagged the expenses that exceeded the forecast when we were doing the review. So the items listed on this slide are additional expenses that exceeded what we were forecasting in the approved textbooks area. Most of these expenses, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Most of these expenses are funded through the additional CARES learning loss mitigation funds that the school is receiving. And so those are additional funds this year to offset costs related to COVID and distance learning. And so most of these are funded through that. And so those were the items that we had flagged. The exhibits we included are just the check and credit card registers. And then at the next board meeting, we will bring to you the October financials, including the September financials. Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions. I'm good.
Okay, I will stop sharing.
Okay, so that leads us to item B, school operations update. I'm sorry. Chancellors. Yes, Chancellor school report. Item B, Miss Alvarado.
You guys both have co-host, so whichever one of you wants to play it.
I can take it, Miss Alvarado, if that's okay with you. All right, so this is the Site update for October 29th, 2020. We do have both of our ASB presidents, Addie Matthews and Maddie Wong, that are going to present an update for each site in regards to ASB. So Addie and Maddie, when you need me to change the slide, go ahead and just yell slide, and then I will switch it over for you. You ready, Addie?
Yes, I am ready.
Perfect.
All right, so kind of a lot of information today, but we just did our Red Ribbon Week, and that was actually through tomorrow. Tomorrow is Literature Day, but that has been this week. And so we've done theme days and an art contest. So below you can see some of the pictures of some of the themes that the students got to choose. And the themes were, we're too classy to do drugs, and that was where the class got to choose their theme. We did Red Out, Dress for Your Future. If you don't do drugs, you'll have a bright future, and stuff like that. For our art contest, we had a digital and a hand-drawn contest for K through 2nd, 3rd through 5th, and 6th through 8th. And those winners will be announced on Monday. We also had everybody do, all the kids turn in a word from a form that we've turned into Wordles that you can see. So anything relating to a happy future without drugs. So healthy, strength, life, future, all that stuff. We have been continuing with our champion chat. That has been going really well. We send them out about every other week, and we've expanded to Mr. Roy actually helps head that now, and we have 4th through 8th graders on that now. We also have been collaborating with PAL. PAL has been helping us with our Red Ribbon Week, which is super helpful, and we love being able to collaborate with them for more ideas and just being able to get to know them and work with them a little bit more. Our MI activities we do once a month, and this month has kind of been just introducing and bringing the concept of all of the MIs to all of the students. But next month we will start to get deeper into one MI per month, and we'll do an activity relating to that MI. So this month we did a scavenger hunt, and we did charades kind of relating to it, and we presented after to explain each of the MIs. Later towards the holidays, we are going to start a virtual talent show and possibly start a few service projects, depending if the shelters and stuff like that will be able to, if they're able to take items that we give because of COVID. So we still have to look into that, but that is on the schedule. We met with Maddie, the SB president, and the SB ASB advisor about last month, and we were able to share our ideas and kind of help each other out with just some of the events that are going to come up throughout the year. And that was really cool because then we're able to come closer as sister schools and just collaborate more and be on the same page a little bit more than we were. Our new hybrid schedules, we started all on Monday, and it has been going super well. ASB now meets on Mondays from 3:45 to 4:30, and we plan for the upcoming week. And if we need to schedule more time to meet, that's when we do so. That's why we meet on Mondays, and we're able to plan out that week. And we're hoping to, since we're back on campus, or some of us are, that we're able to have some people doing virtual stuff and some people actually on campus to get a little bit more, but we're still kind of working on that. And I felt that being back at school, it was super organized and super safe, so I was really excited to do that. And yeah, happy early Halloween.
Perfect. All right, Maddie, you're up.
Last week, we started our hybrid model of school, and I was really excited to do that because I was super excited to go back to school. And this week, we also had our Red Ribbon Week. So each day we had a different themed dress-up day. They were very similar to SSC's, where each class on Thursday today got to pick what theme they wanted to dress up as. So my class, for example, did a Decades Day because we are drug-free throughout the decades. Not next week, the week of November 9th, we are doing an International Friendship Week. So ASB is planning a lot of different Zooms to promote International Friendship Week. So each day a different grade will come onto with us and we will play games relating to friendship. Last week we finished our first student news, and I was really excited for that because we all got together, well, not got together, but we all contributed to it, and we all did a video, and you can see many pictures from the student news throughout the slide. We are collaborating with POW to do a lot of service projects. Yesterday we had a meeting and we were thinking about a few of the service projects that we could do. A few examples of these are a holiday food drive closer to the holidays or a beach cleanup. So I'm excited to start contributing to the community. And ASB is also partnering with us at Use Again, which is an organization who takes donated clothes and other donated items to plant trees. So in the bottom corner of the slide, you see the box that's at our school. So families and students can go donate their clothes or any other items that they want to. And each time the box is filled up, us Use Again will plant a tree. So everything's going well with school. Like Addie said, it's been super organized, and so many of my friends and I are so excited to be back. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. So, what can I say? I'm super excited and relieved that we have leaders at our school like Maddie and Addie. Our future is super bright, with them at the helm. So, Ms. Alvarado and I just want to briefly touch upon the return to in-person learning and our hybrid model. So both champions, our champions at both sites, SOC and campuses, return to in-person learning on October 21st. I believe it's over 600 champions. Also, more than 1,400 champions adjusted to a brand new schedule on that day as well. So the staff was well prepared. The professors were well prepared, and I just want to thank everybody for their patience and their willingness to participate and return to campus. Here are a few pictures of the classrooms. You'll see the sneeze guards or the cough guards, they call it, social distancing stickers on the ground at the SV site. I want to thank our Honor Society for holding a drive-through event on the day before in-person return. It was well attended and many of our families received clothes for the school year. Saddleback Valley safety update. We have finally made it. We have finally fenced in our campus. It is safe and secure. I want to thank Saddleback Valley Unified School District for partnering with us and providing us the opportunity to close in our campus, provide more safety. And Ms. Alvarado.
Yes, thank you so much. Hello, everybody. I just want to, before I get started with my presentation, I have a few slides to share about what's going on at SOC, but I just want to say that we have amazing students. Our staff is phenomenal in everything that they have done, both at SOC and SV. We just have amazing teachers that go above and beyond to provide a high level of education for our students, despite all the things that are going on in our world. And I also want to brag about the admin team as a whole for both campuses and also upper admin who, as a team, we have worked together to make sure that we have a safe and welcoming environment for our students at both campuses. As Mr. Bridges shared, we prepared our staff, we prepared our students, also our parents and our community members so that we can start a smooth reopening of our campuses. So these are just a few pictures of at SOC. Our marquee had a welcome back. We can't mask our excitement to see you message for our students. And I know SV as well had the same message because we both felt the same way. We were so excited, and we're still excited to have our students back on campus, and it's been a great experience. Next slide, please. These are what some of our hybrid classrooms looks like, very, very similar to SV. And as I shared before, both campuses have been working together to streamline the process and safety protocols and policies that we have in place to make sure we keep our students and our staff safe and secure. Next slide. I want to thank our Honor Society because they made us feel special on the first day of school. They put together, they're just so creative and so thoughtful all the time. One of every single staff member received a shirt that's virtually, OPA SOC Virtually Unstoppable, which was wonderful. The picture on the right-hand side is Ms. Freiler, who was delivering each of those shirts, and every single one of our staff members received one with their last name engraved on a little champion. It was wonderful, just wonderful to see all that, and it made our staff members feel special. And the following day, first day of reopening, we all wore our shirts. I also want to, there's a special thank you because our reopening day would not have been what it was. It was a little crazy because we had a lot of traffic, cars, everything's new for everybody. Remember, we transitioned so many students at both campuses, and we were able to do it successfully with a few hiccups, which we expected because nothing can be perfect. But I want to thank the Orange County Sheriff's Department for providing us the support at SOC and being there for us. Special thanks to our new SRO Deputy Carrasco and our SOC staff for being out there and helping us with the drop-off and pickup process. Deputy Coleman, Deputy Dixon, who was there, and our Community Service Officer Rickers, all supporting us on the first day to make sure we had a smooth transition on the first day of reopening on October 21st.
Was that Deputy Barley I saw standing next to them?
Yes, that was. So Mr. Barley has been instrumental in this whole process as well, planning the reopening and how we were going to keep everyone safe in following the safety protocols, as well as Dr. Kernan and our Executive Director, Joe Marks. So everybody has been working so hard in making sure that we had this smooth transition. It just so much work goes into this. It may not seem as much, but once it's just a smooth process, and our parents, I think, have noticed the difference between the first day and the last and recently. So arrival and dismissal at SOC and SV has been very similar. So at SV on day one, drop-off took about 45 minutes and pickup took about 40 minutes. And at SOC, it was 33 minutes on the first day and 45 minutes for pickup. So there was a delay there for pickup at both campuses and drop-off. Day two, if you notice the big difference, we were able to cut that time in, by a significant amount of time. So we were at 20 minutes for drop-off at SV, and then 25 minutes for pickup, and then at SOC 25 and 29 minutes. And today, Mr. Bridges, you want to brag about what we were able to do?
We're sub 20 almost in both drop off and pickup. So it's a lot of hard work. Shout out to the staff, classified, certificated, for getting out there and working and troubleshooting and adjusting. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't open up without our certificated and classified staff. So big shout out to them. Enrichment update.
Real quick, our
parents
so much for just following all the steps that we have provided for you guys, all the rules and regulations and everything else. I know it's not easy to follow that, but now that everybody's following along what we provided, the process is a lot faster and smoother. So we just want to thank you, parents, for helping us make this process a lot easier as well.
All right, real quick, enrichment starts on Monday. Forms will be sent out to our families this weekend. And here are the upcoming events. If you want to learn about all those, you can visit the OPA website and go to the calendar, and all the events are on there. But I just wanted to give a big thanks again to everybody involved in this process. The kids are happy on campus, they're smiling. Even though they have masks on, I know they're smiling, and just being able to chat with them at drop off and dismissal has been something that we've all wanted, and it was very welcomed at this time to get to interact with all of our families again. So that is it. I am going to mute, and I give you the floor.
Okay, well, that's great. Great info, great news. I think that beats the drop off and pickup time from when we're not in this way. Do you even let parents stop? I just imagine it being like, no, keep it moving. You just open the door and they roll out. I mean, yeah. Well, good job. Glad everybody's being safe and expedient, looks like. Okay, so that brings us to agenda item number 7, items scheduled for discussion. Item A, academic program update by Dr. Kernan. You're muted.
Sorry. So, so the chancellors talked to you a little bit about reopening. So we were very excited to be able to welcome our students back on campus. It was a big schedule change and a lot of preparation and planning, but it went really, really well. So right now we have 2 different instructional programs going on. We have our hybrid learning, where students come to school in person Monday through Thursday, and then they still complete virtual learning on Fridays. Again, we're following all health and safety guidelines, temperature checks, social distancing, a lot of cleaning and sanitizing, a lot of hand sanitizer, a lot of wipes and cleaning things off. We do have limited class sizes. And for the most part, our students are staying in stable cohorts. They're not moving around campuses or moving around campus or switching classrooms throughout the day. So they're staying pretty much in one room all day long, or for the time that they're on campus, so that we're not mixing different groups of kids together. So for the most part, for hybrid learning, their core classes are in person, and then their PE, music, and foreign language are virtual. And then at the same time, we also have our virtual learning program for those students who have chosen to continue with virtual learning. So students attend classes virtually Monday through Friday. For both groups, again, we have small class sizes. Students are still able to collaborate and interact just virtually. We do have them as separate classes from the hybrid classes. So teachers aren't having to live stream with their virtual students at the same time as they're working with students in the classroom. The virtual classes and the hybrid classes are at different times. So makes it much more effective for our teachers and for our students. They're able to get that attention, whether they're virtual or in the classroom. And then virtual learning, they're using the same instructional strategies, curriculum as in-person instruction. So it's a very similar experience for the students, and they're getting the same standards and same academics. So like the chancellors both said, we reopened for in-person instruction on the 21st. We have about 42% of our students that returned for in-person instruction at SOC and about 51% at SV. Again, our class sizes are much smaller, so they're between 12 and 18 students, depending on the grade level. And then we do have a few larger middle school classes. Like we moved Miss Carnavale into the library because she has a rather large hybrid class, and that kind of has to do with her accelerated math class and her non-accelerated 6th grade class, and that kind of the numbers that went with hybrid and virtual for that. Teachers are still using technology even on campus because we want to avoid as much as possible passing things back and forth between teachers and students and between students just for safety. But our students were super excited to be back. They were, we had to tell them to not run on their way to campus because they would like fly out of the car to Raymond's point as the car was still moving sometimes, so that they could run and get on campus as fast as possible while somebody was chasing them trying to take their temperature. But no, it was really exciting to see how happy the kids were. And they really are following all of the guidelines. Even in the TK classes, the kids are all wearing their masks, they're social distancing, they're following the rules. Sometimes I think it's easier to get the kids to follow the rules than it is to get adults to follow the rules. So, when you see all of the kids, as soon as if they forget and they get out of their car and they're not wearing their mask, and all you have to do is, kind of go like this, and they all of a sudden like bend over and grab their mask out of their backpack and put it on. So it's, they've really been great at helping us to make sure that everyone's following all of those safety guidelines. And then, each student, we made sure that each student has their own desk and they can keep their supplies in there. There's no other kids sitting at that desk. And so, we don't have to worry about them touching things or messing around with another student's things. So, so we can keep that cross-contamination down. And our feedback has been extremely positive. Everybody that returned was super excited to return. Families have provided feedback that they're very happy about our safety protocols and procedures. Students and staff are feeling safe at school. Families were also expressed that they're happy that they were given the choice between virtual and hybrid learning, and allowed, some families weren't comfortable sending their students back, and so they were able to pick that option as well. Staff spent 2 full days training and preparing for students to come back. And that meant that everyone was really prepared on October 21st to welcome students back, and it went very smoothly. And then, the chancellors are both very proud of our pickup and drop-off procedures. And like you said, Raymond, it's as fast or faster than our normal pickup and drop-off procedures. So, so that's great that, we're not wasting a lot of time with pickup and drop off. And so students are getting that full amount of time in the classroom. We did have to revert back to virtual learning with the fires for our Saddleback Valley campus. The fires were pretty close to campus at one point, and also the air quality was very bad over by Saddleback Valley. So we reverted to 100% virtual learning on the 27th and 28th. But because of our new schedule, it sort of helped us to be able to see how quickly we could revert to fully virtual learning without losing any instructional time. We made the call at 6:30 in the morning to revert to virtual learning. And at 8:30, everybody was in their classes, just doing it virtually. But, the teachers didn't miss a beat. The kids didn't miss any instructional time. And so that kind of showed us that all of our planning will allow us, regardless of why we need to, revert to virtual learning, we can do it very, very quickly without anybody losing any instructional time. So, no schedule changes necessary. It was basically just the teacher said, use your Zoom link and get into class, and everybody was able to just attend. A lot of students even were attending while they were evacuated. So we did have students who were attending from hotel rooms or neighbors, or friends and families' houses. And so the teachers, were making sure that students were able to get on and having some leniency because of what was going on for a lot of our students. But it was exciting that they didn't have to miss any instructional time. They could log in and just go right to their classes. So, so all in all, it's been an amazing start to hybrid learning. And we're really excited to be able to keep going. And we know that whatever happens, you know, if something happens and we were to have to revert to virtual learning, we can do it very smoothly. Or the other way around, if we're able to come back on campus more, then we can do that very smoothly as well. So any questions from the board?
Wow, talk about flexible. I don't have any questions.
I just want to commend you all. I think it was an amazing job, and being able to do it so quickly and so fast and at such a doing such a great job. We just really appreciate you.
Well, and so smoothly. I mean, to me, it's been incredible to see how OPA has risen to the occasion in this very difficult time and just continues to hit it out of the ballpark in an ever-changing landscape with the fires. And, you know, you never know what's going to happen with COVID, but it's been incredible to see. And I can speak for several parents. I know how much they love that fence at SV. That's long overdue.
Garrett's been asking for that fence since I got there, and we were excited that we were able to finally get it through. And Saddleback Valley Unified, you know, helped us to make sure that it all got approved and in time for us to go back to hybrid learning.
All right. Good work for sure. Okay, that brings us to agenda item 8B. And if I've been saying 7, sorry about that. 8B, school operations update, Mr. Barley. Detective Barley, I should say.
Oops, I'm on the wrong slide. I'm previewing for everybody. Don't look. Okay.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Amy, for run this for us. So we're going to go a little bit deeper. I want to thank some people. Let's go to the next slide. This has to do with all the great work that people did, and just to inform people kind of behind the scenes. You know, there was planning, purchasing, and inventorying of all needed PPE and cleaning supplies. We sourced 3 bids for an external company to provide sanitizing of each site. We did that before the students, before the teachers came back, and they're available, you know, within 6 hours if we were to need them to come and redo the site. It's a part of their contract. Staffing of the campus-based positions that we needed to have. We added in the office. We added an RN for the first time. We had a registered nurse at OPA, which I'm thrilled about. Campus supervisors, custodians. So we really have the staffing that we need to be on campus, to put it simply. And then our communication approach for hybrid families returning to campus, I thought was excellent, and everybody worked really hard. We put together some staff caddies and bags for everyone so that they have the PPE and cleaning supplies they needed to clean off desks. After the cohort A, to ensure that we have extra cleaning going on, not only before school, but during school and after school. So it's all working really well. People are working really hard. This is just some of the list of things that were either given to us by California Department of Education and were sent to us. And then we purchased quite a lot of these things to make sure that we had everything that our students and teachers and staff would need. So you can just look through those. Some of them have been mentioned before, but what you see when you're doing drop off, this is all the behind the scenes work and all the things that we had to receive, distribute, and have available. So there were a lot of people, go ahead to the next slide, who were involved. The hybrid family mailers were a big success. That went, you know, out about a week before we returned to campus. It included, you know, a letter with instruction, family card tags, information. You can see there the card to keep in your car so you knew what to do when you pulled up to each school site maps to help the students get to their classes. And then we had student name tags for the little ones, and an OPA sticker was included too. So Herculean effort, again, from so many people. You see pictures there on the left, the outside company that sprayed down the entire, both campuses. You see the landscapers doing their thing to tidy up and make it look great for our return. You see one of our maintenance technicians there doing his thing, and he's worked so hard for so long. We also have 2 chairs there that I see. That was before we actually separated the desks. So we never have students sitting that close at the same table. So it wouldn't happen. So that was before we actually set that up, I noticed. Okay, next slide. And then these are the, we call them the teacher totes, the caddies, that we had a whole bunch of people emptying those boxes that you see in the middle. We did that on both campuses, each campus, and then all the supplies, the thermometers, the COVID questions and kind of educational pieces, face shields, masks, disinfectant, sanitizer, everyone received those and they're using them and having those items refilled as needed. So everybody did a great job. On the next slide, it's really the list of everyone on the team. It's a great big OPA team thank you from me and from everyone who was involved to take care of our families and students and teachers, instructional assistants, site administrators. Everyone pulled together in a way that I haven't seen before. Thrilled with the office staff, all those names of individuals who all came together in a short period of time. I hope I didn't miss anybody, but you're all awesome in my book. I couldn't be happier to work with each of you. So thank you, everyone.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable flexibility. That's incredible. Okay. Agenda item 8C, OPA, CAASPP, and the school dashboards. Dr. Kernan.
Okay, so each year we need to present out at a board meeting our CAASPP results and our school dashboard results. This year is a little strange for that, because although we still need to present them out, nothing actually has changed since last October when I presented these, because our students didn't take the CAASPP test last year because of COVID. And the school dashboard results then didn't change because of COVID. So I'm going to quickly kind of go through what those results are, just to freshen everybody's mind, and then kind of talk about what it's going to look like for testing this year. So again, due to school-related or COVID-related closures, we didn't take the CAASPP, the summative LPAC, or the physical fitness test. And all of the reporting on the California school dashboard has been postponed until we have more data to put in. We're not reporting any new local indicators. And we did, however, give, the state granted us the ability to be able to give the summative LPAC, or English learner, English language proficiency exam in the right now when we first came back. So Ms. Didion, our EL TOSA, has been giving some of our students that test if they were close to being able to be reclassified English language proficient. So we didn't want to penalize our students who were ready to be reclassified by not allowing them to take the LPAC. So she's been giving them that test, and we are very excited that several of our students have been reclassified. And at the November board meeting, we're going to present those students at the board meeting and congratulate them for the big accomplishment that they've made at being reclassified. So we're excited that we were able to still give them that test and reclassify them, even though technically the test was canceled at the end of last year. And so for this year, all of the testing is supposed to resume. We've already started our initial LPAC testing for those new students that just arrived to our school. And then we will be giving the CAASPP and the summative LPAC this year. The CAASPP will be administered in May, and the LPAC will be given in February. The physical fitness test, however, has been postponed because most schools aren't doing PE in person. So it would be difficult to give that, that test. We're still not sure how testing is going to look virtually. Ms. Didion has been giving the LPAC virtually. And so we do know what that's going to look like. But as far as CAASPP testing, we're not sure exactly what that's going to look like in a virtual model. But we have a couple more months before we have to actually give that test. So kind of just looking back at our data for South Orange County, we scored very well in our ELA, about 80% met or exceeded. And then in math, about 83% met or exceeded standards. And then if you look at the different grade levels, the gray is 2018, blue is 2019. So for South Orange County, we did go down a little bit in some different areas. And so we are hoping this year to bring those scores back up. And then for Saddleback Valley, Saddleback Valley did improve in several grade levels in math. South Orange County did improve in several grade levels, grades 3 and 7, and then their overall score did improve in math. So then for Saddleback Valley, about 76% of our students met or exceeded the standards in ELA, and then in math, about 72% met or exceeded standards. And then you can see again, for ELA, there were some grade levels that showed some pretty significant improvement, especially in grades 3 and 5, there was some significant improvement. But then in grades 4 and 6, there was a little bit of a decline. So we have been, even last year, really working on those 2 grade levels to make sure that we don't continue with that decline. And then ELA showed similar results, except for 6th grade ELA actually showed quite a bit of improvement. They just went down a little bit in math. So really working on different areas to try to improve that. If you look at our comparisons though to our surrounding school districts, our students do perform very well. In ELA, we outperformed all of our surrounding districts at SOC and came in very close at SV, just a little bit under Irvine, but well above Capo and Saddleback, and then well above the Orange County average. And then for mathematics, same thing. We at SOC definitely outperformed all of our surrounding districts. And then Saddleback Valley, again, just squeaked in right below Irvine. So we're hoping that we can have both of our sites, really improve and showing a lot of progress. So then for the dashboard, and the dashboard has sort of color-coded levels where blue is the highest level, red is the lowest level, and the way that these levels are calculated is not just by performance, but also by progress. And so even though when you look at South Orange County, our math and ELA scores are higher than Saddleback Valley, because some of the scores declined a little bit, we're only in the green in South Orange County, but yet we're ahead of most other schools. We're much higher in that actual performance level than almost all other schools. But because we did dip a little bit, we're only in the green for South Orange County, whereas in Saddleback Valley, even though the performance level is a little bit lower, we did overall improve a little bit more. And so we're in the blue for math and ELA for Saddleback Valley because it looks at both of those different metrics. And then for suspension rate, we have very, very few suspensions at our schools. And so, we have a very low suspension rate. One area that pretty much all schools in South Orange County are having a little lower numbers in is chronic absenteeism. Our chronic absenteeism, unlike some low income districts where kids just either can't get to school or they're watching younger siblings, our chronic absenteeism rate here in South Orange County has a little bit more to do with things like vacations, which are not considered excused absences, and just different family things that happen that the state doesn't consider an excused absence. So in looking at our chronic absenteeism rates, we've really been working hard to make sure that families really understand what is considered an excused absence, and trying to get families to take time off when it's not, when school is in session, because even if we provide independent study contracts or makeup work, it really does take away from the student's instructional program if they're not in school during the normal school year.
And then Amy, right before, oh, sorry, if you could just go back one slide there for a second. Isn't there some, I recall this dashboard thing being a bit anomalous in the sense that you could even get the same score 2 years in a row, or there's something weird about it where just the strangest thing could knock you off a whole level. Can you give us like one of those examples?
Yeah, so there is, so some of our, especially with our subgroup data, we have such small subgroups for certain things that even just 1 or 2 students, or the suspension rate is actually a good example of this. Our suspension rate is about 0.3%. And so if it goes down like 0.05%, which is not even an really significant number, it knocked us from the blue level to the green.
So it's not like you went from 17% to 13%, or
yeah, it was
vice versa.
It was actually didn't even have to do with more students being suspended. It had to do with the fact that we suspended the same amount of students, but our student population increased. And so because we got more students, but our population decreased a little bit for that year in certain subgroups. And so because we had a few less students in certain populations, it actually looked like it was a bigger percentage, and it knocked us down into a lower tier. So sometimes for certain things, because we have such small numbers and because we have such small percentages of students in certain subgroups, a tiny little shift looks like it's a big shift, but it really isn't. The same thing happens with our English learners. Because we have such a small percentage of English learners, sometimes a little shift in their progress will knock our dashboard numbers down quite a bit, even though it's really only 10 or 11 students that we're talking about.
Dr. Canan, is it fair to say that the accountability is really set up more for districts rather than
it's
small independent charter schools? And we find that we come across that with metrics and other things all the time.
Yeah, we are much smaller than almost all districts, and so we're looking at a much smaller percentage that can shift our numbers quite a bit. And as with any accountability, also a lot of the different subgroup data is geared towards districts that have large percentages of different subgroups of students, so the data doesn't shift as much. If you have an 80% free and reduced lunch population, then that it's going to be much harder to move the data of that group, whereas we have less than 10%, and so the data can shift with just a couple of students. So we also look at our local indicators that we report ourselves and look at how we're doing in certain areas. Those are not being updated this year, but we did in the past meet all of those indicators. So highly qualified credentialed teachers, sufficient instructional materials that are standards-based, well-maintained facilities. We've met all of those indicators. Also parent and family engagement opportunities, we've met those indicators. And then school climate, we've met the fact that we do survey our students and our parents on a regular basis. We've also met that indicator as well. So some of our focus areas and kind of looking at where, where we have areas of need. We really wanted to make sure that we provide both synchronous and asynchronous instruction in all core subject areas on a daily basis. So whereas some schools in their hybrid models or in their virtual learning models are only teaching certain subjects every other day or 1 day a week or a couple of days a week, it was really important for us to make sure that that those students were getting all of their core subjects on a regular basis each week. Also providing enrichment and socialization opportunities. So opportunities, even if we're virtual, where students can interact, do fun things. The chancellors were talking about the enrichment and club opportunities for students, and do things that get them just away from the actual core academics, as well as still providing PE and world language and music to our students so that they also have those extra opportunities. And then we're implementing our new math curriculum this year at both sites. Luckily, it has a very good online component all the way down to the lower grades, especially for what happened. But it's been going really well. Our students really like the material. It's engaging. And we've been providing a lot of professional development going along with that implementation of the Ready Math curriculum. Also providing a lot of English learner support, especially in virtual learning. Some of our non-native English speakers are having a harder time getting the information virtually. And so Ms. Didion has been really helpful meeting with students and providing them with group and individual support throughout this time. And then we have, that goes along with our math curriculum, iReady. They were one of the biggest assessment companies for educational assessments. And so we've implemented their ELA and math assessment systems and benchmarks. We're also implementing writing assessments every trimester. We really want to focus on improving our students' writing across the board. So every student will have writing activities throughout the trimester, but at the end of the trimester, it will culminate in a major writing prompt that they'll have to do in all three writing genres throughout the year. So really increasing all the way down to TK, the amount of writing that our students are going to be doing. And then our intervention teachers, we have an intervention teacher on each site. They are newly hired and they're setting up, or have actually set up, groups working with the teachers to find out which students really need extra help, and then setting up time to meet with those students either in groups or individually to provide them that really individualized support. We're continuing with our positive behavior interventions and supports training and implementation for our staff members. And then having our counselor Gretchen provide a lot of support on campus still, even virtually to students. And then implementing our new second step cell curriculum every Friday for our students. We have an actual class for it. And that gives the students even more socialization and relationship building opportunities and just social skills and mindfulness and emotional awareness. So all of those things are different focus areas that we're looking at. Even in all this craziness of hybrid and virtual learning, we still want to keep moving forward and giving our students a really well-rounded and balanced education. So that is all I have for that. Any questions?
Amy, that was a fabulous presentation. It's great to see all these new curriculums and new ways of assessing and checking and just helping our kids along the way. Congratulations for all you've done and all the stuff that you're planning to do with the educational program. It's very exciting to see it continually get better and better for our kiddos.
We're going to keep moving even regardless of COVID. I don't care.
That's awesome. Okay. So that leads us to agenda item 9, board reports and comments. So would you like to lead us, Delay?
Well, I just want to give a big shout out to all the administrators, the classified, the teachers. I know David had a great little PowerPoint that showed everybody, but it's no easy feat to handle education right now in the hybrid and virtual. And I just want to commend everybody for doing such a fantastic job to rise to the occasion and just continue to set us apart, as we know OPA is so amazing. So thank you all for everything you're doing. I know it's not easy.
All right, Danelli.
I just wanted to reiterate how thankful we all are. I don't think everyone realizes how much work goes into making it look easy on the front end, how much work you put in every single day. I think sometimes as a parent, you just kind of see, it took a long time for drop off or et cetera, and they don't see how much work goes into even thinking about all the minute details of your PPE and your maps and your tickets that are individualized for each family and numbers and et cetera. So I just really commend you, and I'm really, really grateful that we have a team like this that makes our lives better and our kids' lives better. So I just really appreciate you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I would just say I've said wow more tonight, I think, than any other board meeting so far. And it's hard to come up with something that if I said, hey, why don't you be a teacher? Like there's challenges that come with being a teacher. I say, okay, well, let's be a teacher and be virtual. And then there's a whole nother level of that. And say, okay, let's be a teacher and be virtual. And I'm going to add a level of contagion in all that. You're like, okay, this is getting like ridiculous here. It's like, okay, now be a teacher and do virtual, and I'm going to add a contagion. But by the way, there's a fire. And so it is just incredible for me to think first, if you would have told me 2 years ago, hey, being a teacher and, CAASPP and all the assessment, as if that's difficult enough. And then I'm going to throw all these other curveballs today. I'm not going to throw a curveball in a week where you get to plan for the fire and the contagion and the virtual. It's throw it right now. And so it's just all inspiring. And I'm just so proud of everybody involved in the staff and the site leadership, Mr. Bridges, Mrs. Alvarado. I mean, you guys, just to see you guys out there moving cars through and moving people in and being as positive and as can do and as inspiring as you guys all are. And Jill, you're at the top of this organization. I don't know where you go from here. I don't know, but it's incredible. And I really love what you've done. I've been here long enough to have seen the mountain climbing happen. And so, wow, I really feel like we're on the summit. I feel like you guys are really doing awesome work. And so just bravo. Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going to rattle on any more than that because Joseph would be telling me to hush up and move on. But that leads us to agenda item 10, Executive Director reports comments.
I want to thank the board and everybody who has just invested so highly. It's been very intricate, as you can see. And the amount of commitment has been amazing. I just wanted to share with you briefly that this week I attended the virtual California Charter School Development Center Leadership Conference. I was pleased to learn that public support for charter schools is increasing, though there are several negative generalizations that persist. All of us at OPA have become knowledgeable charter school designers and supporters. And the school narrative each of us shares with family, neighbors, colleagues, and acquaintances carries the weight of firsthand testimony about OPA and charter schools. Our testimonies also correct less than factual information about our California public charter schools, such as charter schools operate as private enterprises without oversight and rules. And we know this is not always the case. The best schools are the ones that are highly valued by families, teachers, staff, and community partners. We arrive and we remain here because OPA provides the best value for our children and staff. So your OPA story matters, so keep sharing it. The value you place on an open education is what makes our schools exceptional and unique. And now, we're ready to discuss items for action. Thank you.
Okay, that leads us to agenda item 11, items scheduled for action. Letter A, approved declaration of need for fully qualified educators, OPA SV. In order to be eligible to apply for emergency credential permits, a district or charter school must have an annual declaration of need for fully qualified educators on file. Oxford Preparatory Academy, Saddleback Valley currently has one teacher who needs an emergency permit to be considered fully qualified to teach English learners, and one teacher who needs an emergency permit in order to be considered fully qualified to teach special education students. Both of these teachers currently are working to meet California credentialing requirements and should be fully credentialed by next school year. It is recommended that the board approve action item agenda A. So is somebody gonna, it doesn't seem like, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory here.
Basically, we have two teachers who transferred here from out of state, and California has a few different requirements that other out of state or other states have as requirements. And so these teachers are working to meet those requirements, and we can have them on staff. And we just have to let the state know that they're working towards their requirements. They have a deadline of meeting those requirements at the end of the year, and then apply for an emergency permit for them. So we just want to make sure that we're in full compliance for all of our teachers. And so we just need to submit this paperwork to the state to make sure that we are.
Okay, sounds great.
I second the motion.
This is the easiest job ever. Why is Joseph? Oh, goodness. Okay, great. So all in favor then?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. Okay, great. So that's unanimous, and Joseph's an abstention. All right. So agenda item B, approve SELPA local area plan and school participation agreement approval, OPA SV. All school districts and charter schools are mandated to form consortiums of sufficient size and scope to provide for all special education services needs of children residing within the region boundaries. These consortia, or special education local areas, or SELPAs, must develop local plans describing how they will provide special education services. Oxford Preparatory Academy is part of the El Dorado chapter SELPA. So this is us approving the SELPA local area plan and school participation agreement.
Yes, so as part of the El Dorado Charter SELPA, we have to submit our agreement to participate with them, and they just updated their local area plan regarding governance. So that piece of the plan is in your board packet, and so we're basically approving that draft of the changes to their plan and our participation in the SELPA.
Okay, so there are material revisions to this?
So yeah, so they had to make some revisions to their plan to update their governance section, and so those are the drafts the drafts that they're taking or asking for charters to approve, just to bring them into compliance with new laws and regulations.
Okay, great. Do I have a motion to approve action item B?
I make the motion to approve action item B.
I second that.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We're unanimous, 3, and Joseph in absentia. That leads us to agenda item C, approve SELPA local area plan and school participation agreement approval, OPA SOC. This is like an exercise in being able to read loud. Okay, all school districts and charter schools are mandated to form consortiums of sufficient size and scope to provide for all special education services needs of children residing within the region boundaries. These consortia, or special education local plan areas, SELPAs, must develop local plans describing how they will provide special education services. Oxford Preparatory Academy is part of the El Dorado Charter SELPA. Do I have a motion to approve agenda item C?
I make a motion to approve action item agenda D.
I
C.
second the motion.
C. C.
I'm sorry, C. You got me all confused now. Sorry, that was C.
Okay, great. Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. C passes unanimously with Joseph in absentia. This leads us to action or agendas for action item D, approve agreement between OPA and California State University East Bay to provide student teaching experience. Oxford Preparatory Academy, South Orange County is entering into an agreement with California State University East Bay to provide teaching experience and a master teacher for their student teaching program. Currently, CSU East Bay has a student teacher who will be completing student teaching for a physical education credential. It is recommended that the board approve action agenda item D.
So we have a student who lives in our local area who actually attends Cal State East Bay virtually and needs a master teacher and student teacher experience. And so Mr. Barton has our PE teacher at SOC, has been a master teacher for a couple of other student teachers, and this student teacher happens to be very tech savvy and have a Google certification. So he can help Mr. Barton out with all of his tech needs during the time that we're virtual, and provide that that extra support to a new teacher, and just build those relationships with other colleges and universities to be able to build our network of student teachers, and also that also allows us to build our network of teachers if we do need to hire new teachers in the future as well. So we're excited to be able to have this partnership with them.
Okay, so Mr. Barton took out an ad on Indeed for a student teacher with tech savvy for this thing very wisely. Okay, so it is recommended that the board approve action agenda item D. I have one question. Actually, we have to make motions and such before I can talk about it, right?
Yep.
Great. So do I have a motion?
I make a motion to recommend the board approve action item D.
Do I have a second?
Second the motion.
Okay, any discussion? So,
go ahead.
No, please.
Is this exclusive with that school, or just we're offering it to them as because there's a student that's available?
They came forward and asked if we had availability for a master teacher for this particular student. So it's not that we would only exclusively work with them. We've had student teachers from several other universities, and so we're always looking to build those partnerships. And it is a great way to be able to kind of see new teachers and see if there are any really rock stars out there, because we're always looking at different staffing needs as the years progress, and so it's always great to be able to kind of try them out ahead of time.
And it's also, I think, a great way to introduce new teachers or prospective new teachers to the charter school world, so that even if they don't end up at a charter school, they're fully informed about what it's like and how it is, and which would make it very difficult to not end up at a charter school. But okay.
Yep.
All right. So we have a motion and a second. So all in favor then of approving action item agenda item D, say aye.
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 That passes unanimously with Joseph in absentia. So that leads us to agenda item E, approve OPA 2019-2021 salary schedule amendment to add regular, substitute, and long-term substitute teacher daily rates. OPA 2019 to 2021 salary schedules amended to include regular substitute daily rate of $120 and long-term substitute daily rate of $140. Daily rates are unchanged but did not appear on the adopted salary schedule.
I'd like to add one comment. In the salary schedule that you received in your board packet,
right,
one typo that one of our colleagues pointed out to us, a misspelling of the word substitute, of all things. So the letter A will be replaced with the letter U to correct that, and that'll be updated with your motion to approve.
Or we have to only hire substitute teachers.
That's right.
It's substitute.
Got it. So okay then, it is recommended that the board approve action agenda item E. Do I have a motion?
I make the motion to approve action item E on the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. E moves forward unanimously with Joseph in absentia. Item F, approve 2021 Food Service Management Company FSMC agreement between OPA and Revolution Foods. OPA is entering into an FSMC contract with Revolution Foods, expanding the scope of anticipated services to include a food server at one or more of its schools through June 30, 2021. This contract will better serve the growing demand for lunches as the U.S. Department of Agriculture recently extended flexibilities to allow meal program operators to continue serving free meals to students and their siblings under 18 through June 30, 2021. It is recommended the board approve action agenda item F. Is anybody presenting on this? Do we have any?
I think Jill is presenting, but I'll unmute her. Hold on, Jill. You're still muted.
A minute, Jill.
I think she's doing it on purpose, Jill, because you're so animated.
There you
Yes. Yes.
The contract still needs revision. It is not ready for approval, so I would like to propose to table it until the next meeting. Thank you.
Now, Mario.
Mario, we can't hear you, Mario.
So how does that work? Do we make a motion to table action
Yes.
item agenda F?
Please.
Okay, so do I have a motion to table action agenda item F?
I would like to make a motion to table action item F.
Okay, do I have a second?
I second the motion.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. That passes unanimously with Joseph in absentia, which leads us to the illustrious agenda item 12, adjournment. It is recommended the board adjourn the regular meeting of Oxford Preparatory Academy Board of Directors, deftly led by Mario on October 29th, 2020. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 8:33 p.m.